over in Indy. It is a final. Michigan winning at 75-63. Welcome in to the post-game show, NCAA style. Michigan tipping up the tournament first, and they get to the winner's circle. I'm Dennis Fithian, joined by Jim Scarcelli, and we're ready to talk about this one with you as Michigan advances out of the first round. But, Scar, it wasn't always like that as we watch this game. Michigan not playing one of its better halves of basketball in the first 20 minutes.
Hey, it's an NCAA tournament win. They're never easy. Huge win. We've had our point guard who has started and led our team all year, not here. And you know, we had the first half was a little rough, but we adjusted. Frankie Collins came along. There was some good coaching adjustments at halftime. Huge win. Did not play our best game and still won the basketball game. So it's a great day.
Yeah, and to turn things around like they did, you know, they were down 15 at one point in the first half. They were down just 7 at the break. So as bad as, I thought it was their worst half of basketball all year long. But to get within 7, that's within shouting distance. And they came out and whatever you're talking about, those adjustments, Frankie Collins was really an energizer and really was the star. Hunter Dickinson will have the stats, and they did go to him. And I'm not, we're just arguing about star of the game, but Frankie Collins really gave him the lift. He hit that first 3. If you'd have said Michigan would have gone 0 for 7, and who's going to make their first 3, I don't think anybody would have picked Frankie Collins. Certainly that would have been your first pick, but he hit that. He had some steals. You get him out into the open floor, and he can just fly. And he could finish in traffic. He was amazing. What did you think? You mentioned those adjustments. What did you see there from Juwan Howard and company that turned the tide here for the Wolverines?
I think the big one was really, they had the 38% three-point shooter. I think he was 5 of 6 of the game. The big kid. I forget his name. The big guy. Yeah. No, not Roddy. The other guy. Thomas is a 38% shooter, which isn't terrible, but he was 5 for 6, I think. And I think the big adjustment was Hunter started to step out. I think the game plan was initially probably not to challenge him that much, but at the second half they didn't let him breathe. But yeah, Frankie Collins was the big thing. I'm gonna quote Clint Eastwood again, man. A man has got to know his limitations, and I think Frankie Collins really knows his limitations. He's not firing up shots. He knows he's a driver, but they did basically just give him 1-3, and he took 2. I think he made one of them, but he knows his limitations. He's getting better every game. He tends to be, Denny, if you really look at our sets, though, he can be a liability when he's sitting at the 3-point line because they're not really covering him, and it does allow defenses to put more pressure on our low block offenses. But he had a drive. He's strong finishing at the hole. He had a nice steal in there. Yeah, Frankie Collins did a great job, getting his first start, without Devante Jones in the game. So, but this whole game, I think for both teams, Hunter Dickinson was the focal point, because I think he was the focal point of Colorado State's offense. They were going to switch, get him mismatched, try to exploit him, trying to cover a fast guy. That was a big part of what they wanted to do. And then, of course, that was a big part of our offense too, was to start the offense with him, and they were going to do everything they could to take that away. So he was really a focal point, I think, for both teams offensively.
And I think it's a great point talking about stepping up the 3-point field goal defense there, especially marking Thomas like they did. Michigan took care of the ball better in the second half. They had 9 turnovers in the first half. That was way too many. And you saw some second chance opportunities as well for the Rams. So a little bit more boxing out and then hitting some shots. They really turned this thing. Michigan didn't have their first lead in this game till just under 13 minutes to go. So it was mostly a Colorado State game. But once Michigan did seize that lead, they started giving it to Hunter, and you got right before that, Caleb Houston knocking down some shots. It's been one of those things all year long. Like you always say to yourself, what if they could get, some offense here from Caleb Houston? And, they seem to come in bunches. and you'd like to see him be more consistent here. But for this game here, when this team at times looked dead in the water, to turn things around and to cruise, to get up 10 points there late and really cruise, where you had the Rams running out of gas, you got to give it up. Here to the Wolverines, shorthanded, just like they were against Ohio State. They didn't have Hunter Dickinson. He's their best player. And not to have Devante Jones, who's been their second best player, and for guys to step up, Frankie Collins, and, there's a bunch of guys that stepped up. It was Devante Jones, actually, who stepped up in place of Hunter Dickinson, if you will, even though he's a point guard and Hunter's a center. But, that's team play when this team, for the majority of the year, relied on its starting five to be able to get it done in those two games. They needed the Ohio State game to get into the tournament, and now to advance, doing it without, their best players in each of that game, or their top two players, is impressive.
Well, that's depth, man. And that's why those early preseason games and the way, good coaching staffs and the Michigan coaching staffs, you're constantly developing depth. You got to constantly get the next man up ready. You can't talk about next man up. Everybody hears that phrase, but you can't talk about it if you don't get the guy ready. And I think Juwan and that staff has done a good job getting the next man up and ready. But I tell you, Danny, I really think our defense was pretty darn good, other than defending Thomas. The Roddy kid is scoring a lot, and those guards really scared me, because I watched Colorado State play this year a little bit, and all the speed they had. But I thought we did a pretty darn good job defensively, other than Thomas. And we used our size. Our size was a factor on getting some extra rebounds, getting some offensive rebounds. And I thought we did some good things, popping in and out of the zone like we do. But you talked about the turnovers, man. Yeah, the first half was we were playing like a team that hadn't played in a week, that was in a little bit of a fog, and then we got it straightened out, and they were getting all the loose balls, all the crazy rebounds off the back of the whatever. They were getting all of them in the first half. The balls were slipping through a guy's leg, and they seemed to getting it. But it's a good thing mentally to get the thing back within before the half and withstand as bad as we did play in that first half.
Well, winning in the tournament means everything in college basketball. So they got to the tournament, which was good, because at times this year you wondered if they were going to be able to get in, and then you wondered at times today if they were going to be able to win this game. But they are able to do that. And now you look, the last 4 seasons, Michigan has made the Sweet 16. They're going for 5 straight Sweet 16s, which is right up there in the elite company when you look at college basketball. They'll have to do it beating Tennessee, probably. If Tennessee, that game tips off here in about 15 minutes, they take on Longwood. I'll go back, because I remember Tennessee last year got bounced in the first round of the tourney last year. So, don't say, never with any of these things here, but Tennessee, they were underseeded. They're a pick for a lot of people, a popular pick to go to the Final Four here. But if Michigan would be able to beat Tennessee and get to their 5th Sweet 16 in 5 seasons, would be a very nice accomplishment for this basketball team, all things considered, where you see him starting in preseason number 6, and then way up here, and then going way down here, fighting to get back in, and possibly getting to the second weekend would I'm not going to say incredible, but it would be really nice for this program.
Yeah, Danny, that would be. I'm sure those are where Juwan wants to get this team, where we are, one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the Big Ten every year, competing for a Big Ten championship, competing for a tournament championship in the Big Ten, and then being a Sweet 16 Final 8 team. That's where you want to get to, man. Where you're consistently there. I'm just going to whip through a couple players and kind of break them down though real quick, Danny. We talk about Diabate. He gets the tough assignment. This is 3 games in a row. He gets Iowa's top player. He gets Murray. He starts with Roddy, their best player, and I thought he did a pretty good job. He's still making some passes. I question. We shake our head sometimes some of the freshman mistakes with some of his passes, but he had a couple offensive rebounds, and he's making free throws.
Yeah.
That's huge. He made a couple of free throws at the end. Caleb Houston started out kind of rough. He's been in a little bit of a slump shooting the ball, but he got a little offensive rebound there. He's still got to, I think, do a better job finishing at the basket without getting the offensive foul. But he got hot in the second half, made some threes, and played his butt off on defense. So those guys are freshmen getting better. Then you get Collins, freshman, getting better. A lot of good stuff out there. Bufkin got more minutes. I don't know why he didn't play the last game of the year, but he was respectable, and he gets in and he can make free throws. And Joan kept playing that switching with Frankie on defense and Bufkin on offense at the end, which is smart. And those are all 4 freshmen, man. They got big minutes in an NCAA tournament game.
Yeah, and you mentioned those free throws. Eli Brooks missed the front end of a 1-and-1 there in the second half, which I thought was going to be the kiss of death. But shortly thereafter, Michigan going to the free throw line. Can't really fault them overall as a team, going 19 of 22. We've seen this. There's been some games where they didn't miss at all. They are automatic when they go to the charity stripe. 19 of 22, that's 86%. So good job there. I love Diabate's shoes. Somebody else had those Mays shoes on as well. I like those, but yeah, Diabate, he could. You don't have much to go to there on the bench. There's sometimes you think, oh, you got to bench him, but then you look down and you're like, who are you going to put in? There's nobody. So Brandon Johns last year against Florida State was pretty good, and he was actually good replacing Isaiah Livers late in the season and in the NCAA tournament. That's why there was so much optimism about Johns, but there's not much to go to there on the bench. So Diabate, you got to live with some stuff there when he's out there. What about Michigan's chances here against Tennessee? You say you lost Colorado State. Tennessee's on left and right in the SEC in the afternoon, so you probably ran into a Vol game at least once or twice this year, Scar.
Yeah, they're gonna have more size. I saw them play against Auburn. They have more size. They're more athletic, a little more athletic. But in some ways, it'll be easier for us defensively to match up against that. They won't be able to isolate. They're going to try to work a low post offensive game. So they got good players, but they're bigger, and I like our matchup. But yeah, Johns didn't play much at all. He got out rebounded. Had a moving screen. Williams didn't play much at all. He had a turnover in there. I think some of it is just a matchup, Danny, as to why maybe they didn't play more because Colorado goes so small. But
Michigan all year long, really, and they've gone with their 5. There hasn't been a lot from the bench. You would like to get it. Scar, let me have you respond to Juwan Howard. I don't know if you heard this on the floor after the game on CBS with Jamie Erdahl. I picked this up in the middle of the interview. Here's Juwan Howard.
Get back to our habits. Defensively, we got to do a better job against that three-point line. We also offensively got to take our time. We get them too many possessions, 9 turnovers, as well as, overall, they sped us up. And, what's been our meat and potatoes is our inside play. And our guys really rallied together, led by Hunter Dickinson.
Well, hopefully those meat and potatoes can come back to start on Saturday.
Yes, I agree with you.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, that was Juwan asking what his halftime adjustments were, and he talked about the turnovers and getting the ball inside, and there you go.
Yeah, we were playing like we were, we were stressed, like we weren't ready to handle the pressure of that kind of a game and the importance of it. And we had young guys make mistakes. Eli Brooks was turning the ball over. It was frustrating as heck.
Yeah,
to see Brooks make some of those mistakes, passing the ball like that, but. And then he that's what he did. We adjusted. We defended the 3-point line a lot better. They didn't miss. They got some shots, and they got good coaches too, man. They were exploiting us defensively. And when you bring Hunter out to the 3-point line, it's a problem for Michigan. It's a problem when they got a lot of fast guys. So we did a little better job on it. They didn't, they didn't make as many shots in the second half. We secured the ball a little better, and the guys kept faith. But it's a huge win without your point guard. Huge win. Frankie Collins got a huge game under his belt, man. And So it's a great win for seeing how many young guys got a lot of minutes.
Scar, before we get to your final thoughts here, it is St. Patrick's Day. I wanted to ask you. I noticed you're not wearing any green. Or the name night. Scarcelli, you got a Rose Bowl shirt on.
Oh my God! I don't wear a lot of green, Danny. The enemy over there down in Lansing wears green, man. So I don't have too much green. Man.
No,
I'm an amazing blue guy.
I didn't think you did.
I might have a green beer every now and then.
What about corned beef? Cabbage.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's always good. Any time of year for some corned beef.
Okay. There you go. Some green beer. All right. I figured, Scarcelli, you guys might, who knows? You could have, spaghetti and meatballs, maybe.
There you go.
Sing it, Scar.
Hail to the. Is that what you want me to sing? That's the only song we're singing today.
Look and look. I got the words in front of me here. I don't know this one. All right. Well, let's get your final thoughts here. Michigan wins at 75-63 over Colorado State. Quick turnaround, like everything in this best 4 days consecutively, annually in the sports calendar. And Michigan, we don't have that time yet for the Saturday game, but here we go. We're likely to play Tennessee. So what are your final thoughts here as Michigan starts things off the way you want with a victory?
Yeah, hey, it's the NCAA tournament game, so it's a huge win. You got their best effort. It was a stressful environment. We handled it. We adjusted. We got better as we went on. I honestly think if we played Colorado State 10 times, I think we would beat them 8 times. I think we were better than them. I think our size in the long run, we would consistently beat them. But hopefully we get our point guard back. Danny, I wanted to talk about that quickly because, we had the week off. We played last Thursday. So you got to have a scrimmage in there. It's the same thing as a football coach, basketball coaches. You got, you can't just give them the whole week off. So they probably had a real tough scrimmage and they were getting after each other. And apparently he took an elbow in the head at practice. So that's what you got to do when you have a week off. You can't just, you can't just walk around and
put them in bubble wrap.
You can't do that, man. You got to have an intense scrimmage in there. Probably on Monday they had an intense scrimmage, and you got to do it. It's a downside of tough preparation, but it's a great win. A lot of young guys played. We didn't play our best game, and we still won. And we're going to get them volunteers, baby.
Yeah, and it sounds like they said it. I mentioned Jamie Erdahl that we listened to there talking with Juwan Howard after the game. She had a report on the first time out about there is still a chance of Devante Jones being able to play if Michigan advances. So whatever the protocol is of concussions, the brain injury protocol, where if you're symptom free for so many days, he is in the window where, if he has a good day today and a good day tomorrow, maybe get a chance to, you get a chance to see him on Saturday.
But yeah, hey, we're going to be a confident bunch. Hopefully it'll be an early game. Should be an early game Saturday, and it's a great win, man. You got a lot of Michigan people there. People are fired up, and we're rolling, man.
And they didn't need the luck of the Irish. All right, Scar, great job.
Go Blue, Danny.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Put the bagpipes out.
Hail to the